Good things come to those who wait, in the draft that is, because the schedule is no walk in the park out of the gate. There's a lot to discuss about the new NFL year next on Your Packers Fan Podcast.
Hey Packers fans, this is your unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, and these are the podcasters you're looking for. One of these guys actually kissed the magical 13.5-yard line, and the other guy will challenge you to a game of pinball anytime. And now, it's time to Go Pack Go with your hosts, Wayne Henderson and Troy Heinritz.
Welcome back, friends. This is the Packers Fan Podcast, the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. In fact, we are, as of this recording, the only Packers-related podcast to be a sports category finalist in the annual podcast awards. That was very exciting indeed. We want to hear from you. The new season is going to be here before you know it. Mini camp, all that good stuff, preseason. Call us at 920-3PACK-GO. 920-3PACK-GO. That's also, if you're digitally inclined, it's 920-372-2546, or just go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback. Be part of the show. We have a voicemail widget right there on the website that allows you to record your voicemail right through your phone or your computer from anywhere in the world. This is, believe it or not, episode 130 of your Packers Fan Podcast. Tonight, as of the recording, is May 2nd, 2017. And the show notes for everything we talk about will be at PackersFanPodcast.com/130. Troy, what is happening?
We are going to have an action-packed show, Wayne. I don't know why we're talking like William Shatner, but we'll talk about the recent NFL draft as it relates to the Packers and how they fared coming out of 4 days of awesomeness. Then we share our early thoughts on the upcoming 2017 Packers games.
I can't wait for that. We're also going to share some listener feedback and more. And let me just say, I am so glad to be back with you. I am at Wayne Henderson, your voice acting, podcasting part owner of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, and I have missed talking with you and our great Packers fan friends.
And I'm at Troy Heinritz, and I traded down also from a double stuffed Oreo of 2 bags to 1 giant bag of mint Oreos. Got to stay with the green.
That sounds delicious. I just had dinner, and that just sounds like the perfect dessert.
Dunking those Oreos. Good stuff.
Want to remind you the Packers Fan Podcast is available on demand and on the go with our free Packers Fan Podcast app. We've got one for you iOS users and one for Android as well. And trying to get back into the swing of things with Twitter polls now and then. This week on the Twitter poll, posted out, how would you, the fans, grade the Packers 2017 NFL Draft? And at Packers Fan Pod, 40% of the voters gave the Packers a grade of A. Very nice. 54% voted grading the Packers with a B, saying that it was a solid draft, and 7% gave the Packers a C, saying that they hoped for even more. What say you, Sir Troy? If you were giving out grades, where would you land?
I'm worried about the A- crowd at this point. I mean, you could be the Bears and trade up for a quarterback that doesn't have an offense to throw to.
That's a good point. I just worry that he may come back to haunt us.
Yeah, anything's better than that.
I also would think either A- or at least a B+.
I think that's the same thing. Is that like A flat or A sharp and B flat? Same thing? Sounds the same anyway.
Those are, if you're not musically inclined, those are going to be tricky to figure out.
That they are. But I would say that Ted did the best he could. And the good thing was that this year it was a deep draft. So I think trading down in that first round and moving to the second round, literally only going back a few spots, actually works out pretty well in our favor. There's some really exciting things that come out of that. Like, for example, salaries that you would have to pay your rookies that you draft in the first round. You literally get a complete salary cap adjustment moving into the second round like Ted did. So I think that was fantastic. And really, when you think about where we needed to land from a defensive perspective, we're talking about cornerbacks and linebackers, and that's exactly what the draft was deep with this year. So no reason to trade up, no reason to pull the gun there in the first round. I think it was successful in doing what we needed to do and secured some spots later on in those later rounds where Ted finds those diamonds in the rough.
Exactly. And although many of us fans were hoping to see TJ Watt wearing the green and gold, apparently that's not part of Ted Thompson's plan, and I'm very happy with our picks. We got some great guys. I cannot wait to see who gets to start as a rookie, who makes an impact, who might even go to the Pro Bowl.
Well, let's get to it. Who did we pick first in round 2 there, Sir Wayne?
Well, fortunately, we did not trade again because after not seeing any Packers picks the first night, I was excited that we were picking first on the second night, number 33 overall. Round 2, pick number 1, cornerback Kevin King from Washington.
Yeah, 6'3". Not only is he tall, he is one bad mother. Shut your mouth. He runs a 40 and 4.43. So look for him to add some speed in the secondary. It's going to be awesome.
Nice. So taller and faster.
Right. He was actually an honorable mention all Pac-12 pick at the cornerback position the past 2 seasons. His one-handed interception in the end zone against Arizona State was one of the best plays in college football last fall. He plays in the slot, and he could start at safety too. So this looks like it could be a Sam Shields, Micah Hyde hybrid for us.
I am looking forward to see what he can do because, we've talked many times in the past about parts of our defense. So anything that can shore that up and make us better than we were the past couple of years, I'm all for it. I think he's very promising. So his initials, he's KK. And then with our next pick in the second round, number 29, we picked JJ, safety Josh Jones from, North Carolina State?
Yes, you got it right. Also 6'1", 220. He ran the 40 even faster at a 4.41. And for Josh, you have clearly someone that likes encroaching on the box. So look at him to be like that Morgan Burnett kind of role. But he also has the speed to close the gaps on the vertical threats. Good tackling skills early. And I think he could partner up with Ha and Morgan Burnett in the safety position pretty well. So I think this is also a good Micah Hyde replacement for us.
The Packers defense is on a roll already. Obviously, we haven't seen them in camp or preseason or anything like that. But just on the surface, these 2 guys alone make the entire draft worth it. But we were not done. In the third round, pick number 29, 93 overall, defensive tackle Montravius Adams from Auburn. Another solid pick.
And what a great story for Montravius. I don't know if you saw this, Wayne, but when they selected Montravius to be part of the Packers, he also became a father on that exact same day.
Nice.
So that is going to be awesome for him. I mean, literally, like new dad. Now he's playing for the Packers. He's going to be just excited to see him really shine. He's going to be playing for the offspring, right? He's going to be like showing, hey, kid, look what I can do. This is your dad out here. So it's going to be fantastic. He did have a lackluster junior year at Auburn, but he did pick it up last fall. So we should see some good explosiveness out of him, I do believe.
I am ready to watch. I cannot wait for football season. I know I say that just about every year because I can't wait for football season. Yeah, pretty much every day. You should listen to my coworkers at my day job. They're like, all right, get to football season already. Oh, in the fourth round, pick number 108 overall, lost number, Vince Beagle from Wisconsin, a Badger.
So excited to have a Badger. We thought we were going to get Watt, but instead we're going to have Mr. Vince Beagle. It's going to be fantastic. We couldn't ask for anything better here in Vince. Between 2014 and 15, he actually produced an impressive 15.5 sacks and 30.5 tackles for loss, both among the best marks in the Big Ten. Beagle, which I'm going to keep thinking like Deagle, Mrs. Deagle from the Gremlins all season long.
Well done, Troy.
Deagle. Beagle also earned all conference honors twice and served as team captain while he was with the Badgers. And he has that more Clay Matthews explosive speed and is actually better outside than, say, last year's pick, Kyler Fackrell. So it'll be interesting to see if they move Kyler to the inside this year.
And then we took a turn to offense, Troy. Round 4, pick 27, number 134 overall, running back from BYU in Utah, Jamal Williams. We need running backs, especially with some of the other things the Packers did right after the draft.
It was funny. If you started to look at the draft as it was kind of falling into the Packers' lap, you had a lot of Utah representation, and you also had a lot of Big Ten representation for the Packers. So I think this is going to be great. He's a power runner, but he actually missed some time in 2015. If you can believe it, it was because of a lame school rule about ladies being in your dorm. Kind of thing probably happens at a place like BYU. They do not take lightly to that. So unfortunately, he missed the entire 2015 playing season because of that suspension. But as a special teams player, I think he's going to be interesting to see what comes up at the table. He's not going to be going like on every down, but if he does break free, he will go all the way.
I cannot wait to watch him do that. It's going to be fantastic. And let me tell you, growing up in Utah, we all knew about, if we had aspirations to eventually go to BYU, They were and still are very strict. I'm sure they were even stricter back in my day, but I did not attend BYU. But still, their strictness and rules are legendary. So if you go there to be a football player, you got to know you've got to watch your P's and Q's, cross your T's, dot your I's all the time. But we picked him high enough in the draft that I think Jamal's still going to be fine despite 2015. Then we decided to stick with some offense in round 5, pick number 175 overall, wide receiver, which I thought was an interesting choice from Purdue, D'Angelo Yancey.
Yeah, Ted likes wide receivers, and he wasted no time snagging another one in the 5th round. Why should people fear Yancey? I think if any Badgers fans will remember this, but if you look to last fall when Purdue played the Badgers, he torched us for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yikes.
With an average quarterback behind the thing for the Boilermakers. So what do you think you could do with Rodgers behind the helm? I think this is going to be an exciting grab.
Yeah, we've seen many, many times in the past how Aaron Rodgers carries on the Brett Favre tradition of making unknown or relatively underachieving wide receivers into stars. And like you said, if he was that good with an average quarterback, we're ready. We're ready, and we need some extra depth there. Then in the 5th round, we kept on rolling. Pick number 182, one of our compensatory picks, another running back, Aaron Jones from UTEP.
Wow. I think we're trying to make up for something that happened last year where we didn't have any running backs.
Yes, it's just anybody we could plug in. Mason Crosby, if something happens out there to Ty Montgomery, you're up.
Well, let's think about it. At this point of the draft, now we have drafted 2 running backs. We have Ty Montgomery, you have Don Jackson, you have Christine Michael, and you still have 2 fullbacks up there with Ripkowski and the other guy. So when you take all that into account, that's a pretty big backfield right now.
Lots of running.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what we did find out after the draft was over is that Christine Michael and Don Jackson actually got the boot. So why not pick up some more running backs in the draft? That'd be an easy thing to do, right? So, and if you think a 5'9" running back is a bad thing, just look at Danny Woodhead and the career he's actually had. Small guys are little slippery suckers, and Danny puts up 4.3 yards on average, which is after 3 carries, is another Packers first down.
I'm all for those. 2 thumbs up for first downs, Troy.
So if he can do anything like Danny Woodhead has done in the league, I think he will be fine. Plus, Jones scored in the 86th percentile of the 3-cone drill of all running backs in the draft.
Really?
And bolstered that. Yeah, and he bolstered that with an above average 20 and 60-yard shuttles. So why he fell so far in the draft, I have no idea. So total bargain here.
Destiny to become a Green Bay Packer. Then in the 6th round, pick number 212, offensive lineman Kofi Amachia from USF.
Yeah, never could go wrong with picking up the future protection of one AR-12. But if we know anything about Ted Thompson and the Packers, this is a tackle that will not be a tackle for long. I would expect Coffee to be moved to the guard to start camp this season, and I think we'll see him actually shore up the left side now that Jahari Evans is going to be in there filling the TJ Lang void on the right. And he knows what it means to protect and produce because he earned a first-team All-AAC as a senior. He anchored the line that powered an offense that finished among the nation's leaders in the rushing offense, scoring offense, total offense, and sacks allowed. Means he didn't give up a lot of sacks.
That's fantastic because, like you said, we need as much protection for Aaron Rodgers as we can get. And, yeah, that's a great reminder that Ted Thompson and Coach McCarthy do like to rearrange both sides of the line all the time.
Those guys are shady, man. They shuffle the cards in the deck like you wouldn't believe.
Shuffle. And, of course, we're definitely going to miss TJ Lang. But how do you feel about this recent pickup of Jahri Evans?
I think it's going to be a good thing. I mean, you're going to have to fill the void anyway. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous is that we have Ty being that full-time running back. McCarthy did state that in the press conference that he is the starter. So with him back there behind basically a brand new line, I'll be interested to see how they come out of camp working all together. Great talent on the line, so they should be fine. And we still have a lot of holdover stalwarts on there. But that's going to be really the key to our season is how well the offensive line holds up.
I'm hoping for the best because our poor Packers have had a rough go at it the last, 5 years?
Yeah, line-wise, absolutely.
So keep these guys upright and protect AR-12. In the 7th round, pick number 238, again, Running back Devontae Mays from Utah State.
Is that Utah again? And if we didn't have enough running backs last year, we're going to get one more this year for sure. Junior college transfer, actually. Mays put together an impressive season in 2015. He rushed for 966 yards and 9 touchdowns on 165 carries. And then the 5'11", 230-pound Texas native ran for 208 yards and 3 touchdowns in USU's 2016 season opener against Weber State. He was hurt most of last year, but he was the standout star at the University of Utah Pro Day.
Yeah, for him to do that well against Weber State is fantastic. And if he could do that in an opening game, maybe this year against the Seahawks,
what?
I'm all for that.
Amazing.
Also in the 7th round, pick number 247, again with offense, wide receiver Malachi Dupree from LSU.
Hey, Malachi, do you know who else was a 7th round pick? Well, sure, yeah, Jeff Janis was. But more importantly, Donald Driver. Yes, Donald Driver was a 7th round pick. So now where Donald Driver was the sure-handed guy, I think Malachi gives us the deep option. He averages 16.4 yards per reception over his collegiate career, and he averaged 22.7 yards per reception in his freshman year at LSU when he was voted to the SEC's all-freshman team. Now, keep in mind, he has not had a good quarterback throwing him the ball at all in college, so this is a chance for him to really shine and be that big playmaker. At 6'3" tall and a reach of 39.5 inches at the combine, this is your jump ball stricken machine. His one downfall is getting off the press coverage, though, because he is just under 200 pounds. So we'll have to see how he transitions and bulks up when he takes that next step up into the NFL.
Exactly. Time to bulk up and see if he can make the team and work into rotation, because fortunately, between Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, the number 1 and 2 spots are pretty much secured. And here's to everybody staying healthy this coming season.
Well, after drafting those 3 running backs, they did boot Kristen Michael and Don Jackson. Michael will be released and is the second Packers running back to get cut out of this bunch. Jackson going first. Now, Packers did sign Michael to a 1-year, $800,000 contract, but that deal contained only $25,000 guaranteed for this season, so not too expensive for the Packers to say bye-bye.
Man, wouldn't it be nice if more careers had $25,000 guaranteed?
Yeah, I'll take $25K.
Where do I sign? Dotted line, please.
Michael did have 117 carries for 469 yards for the Seahawks, then was cut and signed with the Packers last year, where he picked up another 114 yards on just 31 carries.
Thanks for your service, Kristen.
It happens. It happens.
It does. It's just business. Somebody's bound to pick him up because he seemed to be relatively healthy. I just don't think he really had a chance to really pick up the playbook.
Well, what I love finding out, Wayne, is once the draft is over, like where people think they like stack rank the teams, like who's number 1, who's the perennial pick to go to the Super Bowl. I bet you can guess who it is.
Shall I?
Sure, you can.
The Green Bay Packers.
You'd be wrong.
What?
Who's always picked to go to the Super Bowl?
The Green Bay Packers.
Not this year.
Who then?
The New England Patriots.
Oh, they're over.
Yes, I am so tired of them.
The only reason they made it to the Super Bowl and managed to beat a woefully unprepared Falcons team was because Derek Carr of the Raiders got his broken leg.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
that doesn't happen, then it's not a problem, right? I mean, the Raiders were just on a roll.
Yeah.
Such an unfortunate circumstance for those guys.
So that seems to be the trendy pick, huh? The Patriots. Ugh.
You know what a super trendy pick is?
What?
When you trade up to get a quarterback in the first round and give away all your other draft picks, that's a trendy pick.
I hope that guy doesn't come back to bite us for the next 10 years.
Well, he's not even going to play because they also signed a deal with another quarterback from North Carolina. And then they also have Mark Sanchez on the Bears.
Oh,
so they got 3 quarterbacks going into the camp.
This is
So this will be super interesting.
Mark Sanchez's 15th team or something?
Something like that.
Wow.
So because of that awesome move by the Chicago Bears on Thursday night, they are the 32nd team overall in the power rankings.
No, wait, there's only 32 teams.
Aw, too bad.
Well, they still, it's supposed to be a rebuilding year. They get rid of Jay Cutler, and they still just are fumbling around.
Well, because in order to draft a quarterback, especially that high in the first round, you got to have an offense for the new guy to throw to, and you have to start the new guy if he's picked in the top 10 of the draft. So for him to sit on the bench, I think is going to really piss Bears fans off if he is sitting on the bench when the season starts. And then when you think about who he has around him, there's nobody to throw to still, and they barely have a running back.
Right.
So they should have, with how deep the draft was, they should have gone offense this year, put up a 0-16 season, got your quarterback next year, and then they would have been ripe for the pickings.
Right. Because I worry that if they do play him as a rookie, he's going to get demolished like Derek Carr's brother David Carr did when he started as a rookie for the expansion Houston Texans.
Yeah, I am okay with that. That'd be great to see Beagle run over him. Beagle. All right.
We've got our theme for the upcoming season already.
Oh, my goodness. Rounding out the rest of the NFC North, the Lions, after their draft, come in at 27th overall.
Really?
And the Vikings, this is a scary part. The Vikings, not scary for us, scary for the Vikings, they've dropped considerably all the way down to 20th overall in the power rankings.
That's unbelievable. They, those teams just didn't have very good drafts, and they had unfortunate circumstances. I mean, the Vikings were supposed to be on a roll last year till Teddy Bridgewater got that horrific injury. So,
I mean, the Lions dropping to 27. I mean, they spent most of the 16th season putting last-second comebacks together in order to beat bad teams. Actually, Stafford set a new single-season record with 8 fourth-quarter comebacks last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I bet Matt Stafford would have preferred to have been in the lead a lot more often.
And if you actually looked at the Pro Football Focus grades, the Lions were actually the NFL's 6th worst team last season. And then Football Outsiders actually ranked them 27th based overall on the DVOA. So, I mean, just crazy how the mighty have fallen in the NFC North, which means your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, we are ranked, guess where?
Well, you already told me they're not the trendy pick to go to the Super Bowl, so we're pick number 2 then.
No, because that would be like the Falcons.
I could just keep counting. Just tell me the number.
4.
Number.
Number 4, a good Packers number.
A very good Packers number.
So if you're figuring out 2 AFC teams, 2 NFC teams, that puts us back in the NFC Championship this year. So should be really, really, really exciting 2017 campaign.
Because who, in between the Patriots and the Packers, you said the Falcons were one of the teams?
And the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, okay. So that is 2 AFC, 2 NFC. I cannot believe the Falcons will be able to duplicate what they did last year, but we'll see.
We'll see. All depends on Julio Jones, right? And how he goes.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think, is this is the season they're opening their brand new stadium, right?
I believe so. I believe that is true.
That might make them a little choppy. Who knows? Look what happened to the Vikings with their brand new stadium.
Purple garbage.
Except
and we got to go to the Super Bowl there, too. This will be the year, though. I mean, think about it. If we could go to the Super Bowl, I mean, I have people I can stay with. I can drive, so there's no flight costs. This is the year that we need to go to the big dance. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say this is the first of 3 years that we need to go consecutively so the Packers can get their 3rd three-peat.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Hey, dream big, baby.
Yeah. So you think about it. So it's Steelers, Falcons, Patriots above us at number 4. And we play 2 of those in the regular season this year. We play the Falcons and we play the Steelers.
Oh, man. As far as road games, my wife would love it if I could make it for us to be able to go to the Steelers game, because she just loves whenever they show their stadium on TV and the rivers going by it. She just thinks it looks cool. And the Steelers, another team like the Packers, rich in tradition and everything, that's going to be a heck of a game.
It is not on Thanksgiving this year, so that's going to be a Sunday night game, November 26th, against the Steelers on NBC.
Thank goodness it's not a Thanksgiving Day game.
And I dodged a bullet this year.
In which way?
So I get the 2nd home game and the 5th home game, and I was really nervous because I thought, oh my gosh, we got to play the Bears on Thursday night in week 4, and that's usually when that 2nd home game falls. And I was like, oh, please do not send me up to a Color Rush game. I might actually sell my tickets.
They've got to, please no Color Rush.
But we do not have an easy start, my friend. I don't know how you could pick 16-0 this year. You just can't, looking at the schedule.
We'll get there. Which game do you get to go to, and is it carrying on the tradition for the Milwaukee, was it gold ticket holders? Is it a night game as usual?
Well, they're that it. There's a night game, yes, and a late afternoon game. So I am still in a prime time situation. So we have the Cincinnati Bengals at 3:25 Central. That'll be aired on CBS September 24th. And then I believe we do have the Lions game on November 6th, which is a ESPN Monday nighter this year. Which is about just as bad as a Thursday night game. Because I got to take off of work 2 days. And
oh, wah.
It's a long drive back when it's those late games in Chicago.
It actually is. It really, really is. I mean, I don't blame you there. It's going to be a heck of a game, though. And it's going to be a great season. And, we're getting how much longer till the Titletown district opens there in Green Bay?
I don't know if they'll be completely done this year, but definitely by next year. I think they said it was going to be done by training camp, but they'd have to work like around the clock to get it done.
Yeah, nothing happens on time. I was thinking it might not be ready till the 2019 season, but
I believe next year for sure.
Cannot wait. That's going to be fantastic. Crown jewel of the NFL.
And then don't forget on the other side, behind the practice field, going all the way back towards the Tundra Lodge, is going to be the new Legends District as well that they're going to be starting to work on. So that'll be interesting. It'll literally be like all Packers from Tundra Lodge all the way to Cabela's.
As it should be.
What? It's going to be great.
And, once that's completed, I think the Green Bay Packers organization can make a very legitimate, substantial bid to host a future NFL draft.
Oh, yeah, a draft for sure. They'll still need to put up a ton more hotels if they want to get a Super Bowl draw. But, yeah, I definitely think they could do an NFL draft up there. That would be totally awesome.
Stay tuned, Packers fans.
So let's break this down here. 17 weeks, 16 games, no schedule changes for the foreseeable future. We started out September 10th against the Seahawks. What say you? Yay or nay?
I say yay, and it's our biggest, in my opinion, biggest rival right now is the Seattle Seahawks. The fact that it's at Lambeau Field makes me very, very happy. I saw the Seahawks on opening day last year as the Rams opened up their season at the Coliseum, and the Seahawks looked terrible. I don't think they'll look quite as terrible this season, but yay on this game, and I cannot wait for opening day. I mean, my tradition is I skip everything. That is one football day where I am basically a couch potato, ordering pizza, having my drinks, and I'm watching football all day till the end.
All right, week 2, September 17th, at Falcons, night game, NBC. We all know what happened week 2 against the night game against the Vikings. Do you think they have enough to pull it off against the Falcons in week 2?
Oh, heck yeah. The Falcons, like I said earlier, are not going to be able to replicate what they did last year. Now, granted, with all the hype, and this is probably the actual opening of their new stadium. So I think there is going to be a lot of hype, a lot of noise. Like Aaron Rodgers said, whether or not the Atlanta noise is all real is, to be determined. I do give you this, that this will probably be one of the most difficult and closest games of the year. But I think we have what it takes to pull out a victory on that puppy.
I'm going to be the downer. It's another loss. Aaron just does not play well on those Sunday night games.
Another loss?
Yeah.
First of the year, or are you thinking you're picking a victory against the Seahawks?
Another loss against the Falcons. Yeah.
Okay.
So 1-1 to start out the season for me.
You're scaring me. I thought you were going to pick us to lose to the Seahawks as well.
Oh, no, never.
Okay, good.
The Bengals, on the other hand, that's a win because I'm going to be there. So,
if nothing else, if you have to put the entire offense and defense on your back, Troy, that will be a victory. So that's the 3:25 Central Time game. That'll be a good one. Yeah, definitely winning that one.
I'll rally all the squirrels if we need to. Lambeau Squirrel. Then Thursday night against the Bears on the short week, CBS, NFL Network, and dear God, Amazon?
That
What?
is so interesting that Amazon, I think it's a cool play by them to get into this type of service because I love my Amazon Prime Video as it is. But the fact that it's not an exclusive deal, I'm like, I don't know what's in it for them other than if I'm on the road, I can definitely watch my Amazon Prime Videos on my phone and have my wife drive me around. But of course, I'm going to be home watching this game. So who am I kidding?
Well, think about the Amazon service and what it does right now with its X-ray capability, and it's tied into IMDb. So like when you have actors come up and show up on screen,
I love
like
that.
how cool would that be for a football game? You have players up there, and then the stats can come up, and you can drill in and dig into that as you're watching along. I think that's a really smart move.
And I think it makes a lot more sense than last year's experiment with broadcasting some of the Thursday night games on Twitter.
I think the Twitter thing worked out too. It's just a matter of video with a chat room, but at the same time, you have to have people that are going to be wanting that experience. And a lot of times we want to be able to do Twitter on the phone while we're watching on the big screen. So to consolidate my viewing portal into a smaller area, that doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, no doubt. But the fact that some of these Thursday games are still going to be on major networks, I think is good for, I do know some people that just have an antenna up on the roof, no cable, so, and no Amazon either. So at least everybody gets to see it. Go Packers. There's no way we're going to lose this game.
Then October 8th, which I might be trying to get tickets for this one as well. We go on the road to Dallas, the Cowboys.
Oh, man. Another big rival where, we do a lot of flip-flopping with, who wins this one. Tell us what you think first on this one, Troy.
Unfortunately, I'm going to say we're going to drop this one because it's on the road.
No. We're going to march into that stadium. And again, this will be the other close game of the season, maybe even overtime. Aaron Rodgers might yet again have to pull out the Hail Marys, but we're going to beat the Cowboys. Come on.
I don't know. It'll be a tough one, but we'll definitely beat the Vikings next week on October 15th in noon game. There's no way the Vikings are going to beat us.
No, it's over, Vikings. It is over. Wayne picks a victory as well. Stunner.
You're going to be shocked at this one, though. I think October 22nd, I think this is the one that the Packers overlook, and I think we're going to drop it to the Saints.
Really? Now, I know you have been traditionally close to spot on with the fact that there's always one of those clunker games that either we overlook the opponent or something's just not jiving, or you never know, the team might have the flu, and we do lose some of those weird clunkers. Last year's was what? The Tennessee Titans?
Oh, yeah, the Titans game? Oh.
So I think that McCarthy and these new additions to the team will make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, that's Lambeau Field. It's the Saints. I mean, they have Adrian Peterson instead of the Packers, but I don't think he's much of a concern. And then a very bright spot. Our bye week is not at the beginning of the season. It's almost in the middle, Troy.
I know. This is a fantastic Week 8 pull right here to have the bye because they're going to come off that bye November 6th. I'm going to be there. Monday Night Football, ESPN. They kick the Lions' butts to make up for that loss against the Saints.
The rumored loss against the Saints. I think we're going to beat the Vikings too. Like you said, the rest of the NFC North, it's going to be Packers all the way, and it's going to be fun to watch. I know some people like to see close games. For division rivals, I like to see us just demolish them.
And then we go November 12th, Bears, November 19th, Ravens. Those are wins back-to-back. We are on a roll, 3-0 coming out of the bye.
Yeah, the Ravens, the fact that it's at Lambeau gives me a lot more hope. The Bears, it doesn't matter where they play that game. Sorry, Bears, we're disrespecting our opponents. I know the players won't, at least not publicly, but yeah, those are victories. I'm agreeing with you yet again, Sir Troy.
And until I can see an actual running game with that new offensive line, I'm going to have to say November 26th against the Steelers.
No.
Sorry, it's an away game on a Sunday night. Rodgers does not win those games.
Is there any way I can talk you into changing your mind?
No.
What if the game gets flexed out of Sunday night?
Then he'll win.
Just Aaron isn't much of a Sunday night player, huh?
Away games on Sunday night. Aaron does not do well on those for some reason. The big stage rattles him.
Now I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there on this one. although I don't believe in it, I've seen you and a lot of other Packers fans touch on it. Does the fact that Olivia Munn is no longer in the picture have any bearing on how Aaron may play on a Sunday night?
Oh, he'll be more focused, I'm sure, this year than he was previously. But I'm sorry, 6-0. Olivia Munn has nothing to do with the picture. I mean, if he wants to play, he's going to play.
Well, I know that, but I'm just throwing that out there. I know that when you heard the news, I get this mysterious text message, we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness. Another close game. I'm not saying we're going to stomp all over the Steelers, but I think Ben Roethlisberger's past his peak. We're going to win that game. We're going to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I think I should go just to make sure it happens.
All right. Then we get into December, right? The big four that we have to finish out strong. We got the Buccaneers up first at home. That's a W.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
The NFC Central. Yeah, we will own the Buccaneers yet again.
And then the Browns. Yeah, whatever. That's a win.
Whatever. Now, I will say, I want the Browns to do well, just not against the Packers. They're such a historic team who've just been terrible for so long. But I think they did pretty well in the draft. But this season, we're going to be way too much for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. They'll need another rebuilding year for sure. And then, of course, the Crybaby and his Panthers. That'll be in Carolina. That one will be a win.
Yeah, I agree.
No doubt about it.
We are going to beat the Panthers. Well, maybe you should go to that one just like you did a couple of years ago. We must protect this house or whatever they chanted.
No. No offense to the Carolina fans out there, but man, that place is a dump.
And
it really is.
And the Panthers are not going to be able to have lightning in the bottle. We saw last year how their fortunes changed, and now I think that's their new normal.
Yep, you got it right. And then, of course, finish out strong with the NFC Norris division. December 23rd against the Vikings. NBC night game, but this one's at home. Chalk it up for a W.
The Vikings are coming outdoors to Lambeau Field. That may be a very cold game. It may have very bad weather, or it may be perfect, but either way, the Packers are going to win.
And that has me sitting right now. That's 11 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Packers will actually have to play, I think, against the Lions. They'll have the NFC North tied up, but we want to play for that first round bye. So Lions in Detroit, New Year's Eve. It's a W. We're going to put it on the board.
New Year's Eve. Now I'm going to...
That game just scares me for some reason.
Really? Now, before I make my pick on that particular game, I think we're going to definitely wrap up the division early. We may even clinch home field advantage by the Browns or Panthers game. So my only concern is that maybe by the Lions game, we could be resting players. But who am I kidding? We're going to win anyway. Go Pack, go. Victory.
And this is what are we in now? 7th season of the Packers Fan Podcast? Does that sound right?
I've lost track, but I believe this is the beginning of our 7th season of the Packers Fan Podcast.
I will let you know that Wayne is undefeated in picking 16-0 Packers seasons.
Now, in defense, I didn't come into this saying willy-nilly, I'm going to predict the Packers are going to go undefeated, march into the playoffs with home field advantage, and we should go to the NFC Championship game as we beat who knows what upstart team is going to be coming to Lambeau to try to keep us from going to the Super Bowl this year. But as I go through the games one by one, trying to use my best logic that I know you will laugh at, but I think it's going to come down to the fact that barring any serious injuries, 16-0.
7 years. You said that exact same line for 7 years. Barring any injuries or anybody getting the flu, we'll go 16-0.
Last year,
we haven't.
Last year, we did get the flu and had injuries. The year before, injuries. The year before, injuries. All I can say is I don't see any reason why we cannot win all these games. I say put your hands on your smartphone or your computer and say, yeah.
I think you got spoiled the first year of the Packers Fan Podcast when they went 15-1. Stupid Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh,
still bitter.
There's always one of those dang teams.
So that puts me at 12-4. Wayne, of course, at 16-0. We'll see what happens.
Now, 12-4 is not a bad guess for a season. I mean, obviously, we're still going to the Super Bowl. It'd just be nice to roll in with no losses at all. But 12-4, that's a respectable pick.
Hey, I'm all for a 19-0 season, especially if I get to go to the Super Bowl to see it happen. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, go to Minnesota. I mean, the only people I really know in Minnesota that would offer me lodging would be Matt Anderson, who would probably do it if he's close enough to the stadium, and Ben DeBono, who wants nothing to do with the Green Bay Packers.
Which means he will make you sleep in the backyard under a tarp in Minnesota in February.
In February. Oh, boy. It's good stuff.
All right, well, we got it on the board, so we will track against the season and see how we do and see if we finish where we think we're going to finish by the end of the Packers Fan Podcast Season 7. And you can help us make that podcast even better by becoming a Packers Fan Podcast Patreon supporter. Helps us grow the show to bring you more great content each and every week, but you get great rewards too, so check out all the different levels by visiting PackersFanPodcast.com/support. You might even be able to go to a game at Lambeau Field during next season with me. Some of the best seats around. Again, PackersFanPodcast.com/support for all the details. With your support, we could even do some more fun things like live post-game call-in shows this season. So make sure you go out there and check that out. Thanks again to Saberade and Don Lejeune for their awesome support. Go ahead and join them. It's a blast. It's a great community.
It is fantastic. Thank you, one and all. And we do have big hopes and dreams for the podcast to take it to the next level. We just need your help to be able to do that. And I do want to say, kind of an asterisk against our, picks for the season. All of this is in flux as we see how the season plays out. We, of course, will make our official picks on our episode leading up to that particular game. That way, heaven forbid there's any injuries. But if something like that happens, we'll see.
Well, what are you saying? You're going to change your mind? These are set in stone, my friend. You had to pick wins all season long.
Okay, I'll do it. You talked me into it.
What do we got from the listeners out there this week?
Well, even though it's the off season, because we're building up to the excitement, we got a voicemail from Texas from Granny Cheese.
Wayne and Troy, Packer Nation. Hey, it's Granny Cheese here. It's been a while calling in to say hey and how's everybody doing and go Pack go. My prediction for this season is going to be 13-0, even though I'm looking for 14-0, but we're going to go with 13-0 for now. It's going to be a great season. We got some new good guys, and we've still got the thing coming up, so we'll probably get some more good ones. But anyway, I want to say hi out there to all the Packer Nation. We're having our first annual Texas-only Green Bay Packer Fanatics picnic this next Saturday, meet and greet. It's going to be a fun time. A bunch of Texas Packer fans are going to get together and play some games, do some raffles, and barbecue and have a good time. So if you live in Texas, come on out. And if you live in Texas and you're not in our group, y'all look us up on Facebook under Texas Only Green Bay Packer Fanatics. And you can find Granny Cheese on Twitter under Granny Cheese at Dawn5112. Looking forward to a great season. Ready for some Packer football. Y'all have a great weekend. Go Pack Go. Bye-bye.
Oh, Pack go. Indeed.
Oh, go Pack go. Definitely go Pack go. And that call actually came in right before the draft, so they did have their picnic. But, the Texas Packers backers, they have all sorts of fun events. And what sounds more fun besides going to a Packers game and rooting them on to victory than to hang out with other Packers fans and have a barbecue and play games and just kind of have a good time?
Especially when you're down in Texas and we're playing the Cowboys this year. Yeehaw.
Oh, yeah, because, the Cowboys, they're going down, and I haven't traveled throughout the entire U.S., but I have been to Texas a few times. They know how to do barbecue.
They sure do. They sure do. Thought you said they were going to have a 13-0 season. I'm like, is this the CFL or the AFL? Or?
Well, I think what happened is she's predicting that we're going to go 13-0, and then by, we clinch, obviously, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, then we might start resting guys. So whether or not we win those final 3 games with backups playing, we'll have to see. But
okay, I understand now.
Yeah, so I think
thank you for clarifying.
I am here
I was
to
flashing
help.
I was flashing back to 14-0. I'm like 1973. What's going on here? Although I'm sure the players would like to play less games.
Especially if they could just strike out all the Thursday night games, I think all the players would be a lot happier.
Darn tootin' indeed. Well, the Brown County residents did claim all the tickets allotted to them by lottery for the 2017 season. The Packers reserved 3,000 tickets per game for Brown County residents in return for the support of their 0.5% county-only sales tax that paid for the 2003 renovation of Lambeau Field. The sales tax actually was retired in September 2015, but the Packers still continue the practice to honor the faithful. The Packers originally reduced the number from 4,000 to 3,000 in recent years because it's required 2 drawings for all the tickets to be claimed. It took 2 drawings again this year as well. The ticket holders will receive notification later this month of the games to which they are assigned. Tickets will be mailed in mid-July. Individuals who received preseason game tickets last year are guaranteed regular season tickets this year.
That is amazing. Even though I did get us the Green Bay phone number for the podcast, 920-3-PACK-GO. Is Brown County where Green Bay is situated, or is that a different portion of Wisconsin?
Oh, nope, you got it right. Brown County is Ashwaubenon, Green Bay up there. So good stuff.
Awesome.
Now, I know this is going to shock you, but even though we got rid of Jackson and Michael and we drafted all those running backs, guess what?
What?
We have 5 running backs now and 2 fullbacks. That's a lot of backfield.
Who do we get? My math is fuzzy. I'm missing somebody.
So the Packers signed an undrafted free agent, Khalif Phillips of UNC Charlotte. Phillips holds just about every rushing record for the fledgling 49ers program. Yes, that's the UNC Charlotte 49ers, not the San Francisco 49ers, which was revived after a 65-year hiatus at the school. As part of the first recruiting class, the 5'9.5", 218-pound Phillips led the team in rushing his freshman season with 716 yards and 12 touchdowns on 129 carries, despite not starting a single game.
What?
By the time his 4 seasons were up, Phillips had rushed for 4,020 yards, 41 touchdowns, 46 passes for 484 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns to go with his 41 rushing. So all around, not too bad of a pickup there for the potential practice squad special teams. And who knows, maybe he might even climb up the charts.
You never know. It's amazing that they didn't have him start a single game even with that much production. You would think by the end of the season they'd be like, this kid's kind of on fire. Start him.
Well, if he runs on that 1st and 10 at the start of the game, might just get tired out. So this got his production better by saving that 1 snap.
Technicalities, right? Details, as Troy would say.
Well, that'll do it for this week, and we will see you shortly soon, hopefully with some news from mini camps and such as we get closer to the June-July timeframe when training camp opens. The Unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. However, now is the perfect time to make that happen. So if you know anybody involved with the Packers organization, just give them this email address, media@PackersFanPodcast.com. Also, don't forget to be one of our Packers Fan Podcast faithful by visiting PackersFanPodcast.com/support to see how you can help make the podcast even better this year. And please tell all your Packers friends about the podcast.
Also, be sure to remember to take us on the go with you with our free Packers Fan Podcast apps for iOS and Android. And all season long, follow us on Twitter. We are at Packers Fan Pod. And my personal account, I'm at Wayne Henderson.
And me, I'm at Troy Heinrichs, Heinz Ketchup Ritz Crackers, nosy in the middle. And be sure to like us on our Facebook page as well. Just visit PackersFanPodcast.com/ you guessed it, Facebook to join the community.
Now, you made a lot of food references this evening on the podcast between the Ritz Crackers, the Heinz Ketchup, and earlier you were talking about those special cookies that were green. Yeah.
Mint Oreos.
Mint. Nothing is much better than a mint Oreo. So I just wanted to point out you seem to have food on the mind. So
I'm going to get some dinner after this.
Okay. Remember, PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback to get in your feedback. Let your voice be heard. Keep the conversations going online. We're going to be back hopefully relatively soon as we get closer to mini camp and all that with more Packers talk. I mean, I could go for another 2 or 3 hours tonight. I might run out of things to say besides, we're going to win. Packers rock. Go Pack Go. 13 NFL champion. 14 times coming soon. But in the meantime, we have to sign off for now. Thanks for listening to the Packers Fan Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes so you don't miss any of our preseason coverage. This season's going to be great. Gear up. Here we go. The draft is over, and we are going to do it with a Go Pack Go.